I got to go to, we do have a guest coming on here. His name is Seth. He recently has exited the Jehovah's Witnesses. Let's bring Seth on right now. Seth, I'm bringing you on. Let's do that. Let's add Seth to the stage. Hello, Seth.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
Well, we're all doing good, Seth. We've been looking forward to coming on. Sorry I didn't put the link in there. For some reason, it didn't go up, but then I'll take the blame for that. But thank you for being
technology. It's fun.
I can sometimes you hit the wrong button, things don't work. But I'm so glad to have you with us, Seth. My goodness, I know you're relatively out. Well, why don't you give us a little synopsis on what took place here? Tell the audience how long you've been out and why you got out.
So my wife and I, we've only been out. My wife actually left before I did. We've only been out relatively. It's just almost 2 years now. So we're still a year and a half out, maybe a year and 9 months out. She left in late, I believe it was December 2023, and I left January 2024. And I called my wife an apostate. I called her every name in the book, and things like that. And she's such a darling woman. She's so sweet, so kind, so smart. But we left, and when we did, we knew we couldn't do so quietly. We had to get out there and expose. So we started slowly exposing. And what took us out, really, for me, the same thing as I know my friend Maverick's on here. 587, the same issue. 607 took me out, because I know without 607 you have no 1914. Without 1914 you don't have Jehovah's Witnesses. And my wife, she actually came, she started questioning things back during COVID, about different things going on there, and it got her brain working, and what really was the end point for her, oddly enough, was letting brothers have beards. Letting brothers have beards, because she actually knew many disfellowshipped ones, or ones who were disfellowshipped because they had beards. And so she was like, well, what about them? This isn't fair for God to just change and change and change. Well, it wasn't God that was changing, it was the organization. And so we are professed Christians. We're not part of any religious organization. We're spiritual people, and that's how we are. So we have a 2-year-old son as well. I don't know if you hear him in the background or not. It's he's a loud one. But so we live in Convention City, and I've watched this stream. I've watched another YouTuber who actually protests. I've seen all kinds of protests at conventions. I was basically doing the work of an elder, but yet not being an elder. I was very heavily used, took a strain on our marriage. But it was really a heavy burden on our, being a witness was a heavy burden on us. And we just remembered the scriptures where it says it's not supposed to be burdensome. And so it started to slowly tear apart our family and things like that. So when we did leave, we knew we had to be loud about it. We knew we had to make a little fuss. But we wanted to do so in a different way than we've ever seen before. So that's where we've decided, we live in Convention City, right here in the heart of the Ozarks, the Queen City of the Ozarks, Springfield, Missouri. We have all the conventions and assemblies here in town, many weekends, just a mile away from where we currently live. So we could not pass up the opportunity to go down to the convention center here in town where they have all the events and protest. Now, we wanted to do so kindly because we got to thinking, as many times as we've seen protesters, what would really click in our mind? We would gladly ignore any of the negative protest because it was negative to us. It was truthful. Some of the things were absolutely truthful. And I did subconsciously take it in. Absolutely subconsciously, I took it in. So it does have an impact, but I would ignore it. Our goal is to come out and kindly protest. Let people know there's a support system on the outside. When my wife and I were freshly leaving, We didn't know where to turn. In fact, we had nobody. We didn't know what to do, where to go, where to turn, who to talk to. We felt alone, and that's what we want to help others. We want to make sure that they have somewhere they can turn to. So that's why we created our YouTube page, XJW Coulters. That's a play on our last name. Our last name is Colter. And so we went under and became XJW Coulters. So that's a play on our last name, but we have fun with it. I just want to thank everybody for their support. I'm reading the comments as we're doing here, and it's so awesome to see all the support from the XJW community. Now, if we knew about this stuff beforehand, we wouldn't had such a hard time when freshly leaving. It was so bad at one point, well, many points actually. You just want to go back, even though it was false love. Jehovah's Witnesses showed false love. They were at least consistent with their false love, but it's fake. And so we wanted to be sure that we want to let people know there's real love out there. There's real unity. There's you don't have to believe everything the same way as somebody else. And that's the beautiful thing about being human. We don't have to be conformed to one thing. As long as we're kind, we're patient, and we're loving. And I'm still learning this freedom thing, this freedom in thinking. I know Anne Marie loves to say her favorite 4-letter word is free, and I disagree. My favorite 4-letter word is food, but I got my bag of Doritos here with me, so there's that. But freedom, it's a new concept, and it's a beautiful one. So when we did leave, we left all of our family, so we didn't really have anywhere to turn. Thankfully, my mother-in-law doesn't believe the shunning policy. She's actually, I put her in the PIMQ category. She's questioning a lot of things. So we've been talking with her and working on that, but you know how difficult that gets. But showing that there is a support system out there, xjwfriends.com, streamings like this, JW World News and the SixScreens Network, and other, there is a place where you can go to. You can talk freely. A big support of ours when we started leaving and started being introduced to a community was Joe and Fran, which I know is a friend of the show. Joe and Fran have been there a lot for us. They've helped us personally to clear our thinking. But we've watched all of them. There's so many. There's so many, and we just love that people can come together. We know we have many friends who we talk to almost on a daily basis anymore. It seems like we have Dallas who joins the show, and Sue and many others, and it's become a family. And talking with Rick, talking with Anne Marie, talking with others, it really makes you feel complete. So again, our goal was to show there is unity, there is support. We're not forcing anybody. So we have some fun times with our protest. Another thing that happens with our protest is here in Springfield, we had an issue. And so we're going to cover this on our YouTube channel. We're brand new to YouTube. So please subscribe. Please, that will help us so much. Watch the videos if you can, if you have time. We're not planning this. We're not on a money-making venture on this. We just want to help people who want to leave. Share this with somebody who's questioning. Let them know that we're available to talk to pretty soon. I do think that we're going to put our numbers out there as well for anyone new leaving. We're able to talk to, because I know there's several others who have done that. It's so wonderful to talk. Going to the XJW convention was eye-opening. That was so beautiful for us as well. It's just something that I think every one of us resonate. Being newly out, we were new out at some point. I don't know how long everyone has been out. But see, I know, Rick, for over 20 years, you've been doing this faithfully, this SixScreens faithfully, and that is so beautiful. It fills my heart to be able to join. But yes, over on our YouTube channel, we're going to be sharing our stories. We're going to share other stories. So if you are interested in sharing your story, please reach out to me. You can do so. I have an email. See, I don't know if I can even pull it up here, but I do believe it's in the description as well on the YouTube channel. If you're interested in being interviewed, we can do something. I just want people to know there's a support network. So right now we're supporting xjwfriends.com. Don't go to JW Friends. I don't think that's probably good for us. But we are reaching out to a community who may be PMO. And one amazing thing, and I've touched on this before, is being a guest on the phone with Anne Marie. Every child that we held up a sign for, every child, teenager, or questioning adult, they read it, and some of them were wording it. Some gave little thumbs up, some gave little smiles. People were polite. They were polite to us apostates. Our goal is to change the meaning of that word in the witness's mind. Some of them. We want to be able to help free the mind of a negative connotation with that word. Let them think apostate means friends. In other words, we're not evil. We're not evil. Us apostates are not evil people. We are good people. We have talked to so many people that are good. I have my setbacks. Even earlier this week, Rick, you wouldn't believe the kind of setback that I had mentally, especially with this Charlie Kirk thing. Now, I did not agree with the guy ideologically. I did not agree with him, on a lot of things. Some things I did, but it was so weird. He was a 31-year-old guy out there using debate as a forum, and he lost his life. I'm going to be 31 in 2 days, and it just hit close. So it's been a rough week, and it's weeks like that where you need to rely on our friends here, our XJW community. Support. If you are having issues, seek help, whether it's from anyone else, whether it's professional help. Seek help. That is a journey that Felicia and I are on, but we're happy to share this journey with everyone here as well.
Well, my goodness, Seth, we're all impressed. We're really impressed. My wife, Susan, she really listened to you on a last Sunday program, and we're really impressed with you. You are a rising star in the world of the ex-Jehovah's Witness. Seriously, you speak well. You got a lot to say. You have passion. You have commitment, and you're moving in the right direction. I've got your email on the bottom there so people can see that. If you want to get a hold of Seth, that's his email right there on the bottom of the screen. So you're a man after my own heart, Seth. And the reason why I say that is I am a protester. And there's something that happens to me when I protest. And people say, well, what happens? Well, I get an adrenaline rush. And everyone listen to this program. I hope you experience it. But that's when your body chemistry somehow works to a real good. You really feel good about what you're doing, and everything just radiates goodness throughout your whole body. And that's how I feel when I go protesting.
Absolutely, Rick. You not only do you feel the radiance, you feel a power, and I as a Christian, I almost believe this is me saying this as a Christian. Not saying everyone else can have their own opinion about it, but I almost feel this is the Lord's work. Protesting is part of that, helping people. We have a special territory to cover. Others have another type of territory to cover. We, as ex-witnesses, our friends, our family members, they're still on the inside. They're locked away. They're in a cage listening to the governing body's lies, lie after lie after lie. And that is something, some of them, as staunch as I was, if the governing body said it, it was gospel to me. And I listened to every little tidbit of word. Like I said, I even called my wife an apostate, and it caused us to have a short separation because I was so gung-ho for the witness world. and my wife just had questions. She was simply questioning. So if she had support, and she did, we actually had a special surprise. We'll talk more about that on a YouTube video sometime, and it was actually very interesting and come full circle. Now we're going to we've been in contact with a lawyer for some things that happened here in Springfield that were illegal, that the Jehovah's Witnesses were doing at the convention, blocking a public sidewalk from use and things like that. It was very interesting. So we'll have more on that to come, but lots of good stories. Again, we want everyone to be able to share their story. I want to hear more people's stories. So I really, I love this program. I love the other programs, XJW programs. It's something that has become habitual to us because we want to be there. Not like the meetings, not like the JW meetings where you had to be there.
Well, there's a world of difference. But the interesting thing, Seth, is when it comes to protesting, and I listen out. There's a bunch of people listening in here right now, but I have to let them all know that it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's not an easy thing to do for people, and a lot of people say no. I just don't want to do that, and that's okay. I'll never pick on someone that doesn't. It's very difficult to get people to come and protest with you. Now, I started protesting going back 2000. Well, I've been doing it for 15 years. So around 2005, I started 2004, 2005. But I'll tell you, it's different. It was different back then. It really was antagonistic. I mean, the witnesses would get really, really out of control. I mean, to the point of gunning their cars when they came by you, spinning their wheels, looking nasty at you, not even looking at you, doing everything they can to get out of the way of an apostate. But as the years went on, and just recently in the last year, the last convention that we did, and you mentioned it the other day in your program as well, that people are different. I had people stop and get out of their car and take a picture of us, apostates.
It's different. I had witnesses coming over to offer me a bottle of water to help because it was a warm day. You have people saying hi to you and walking. It's a different kind of, and not to say there's not still some out there who will rev their engine at you and things. And some people shake their head and they want to do other things too. But it's a kinder environment that I think is because, as you've discussed on this program, my guess is like we said, there's 8 million, 9 million, 4 million of them are PMOs. At least half of them, in my opinion, are PMOs. They're ready to leave. They're ready. They just have to find out how. They have to know their support, and a lot of them stay in because of family. So it could be a chain reaction for a whole family to leave even.
Well, what I find, in fact, the young ones, and of course, mom and dad would be in the car, they'd be driving the car, and you got the kids in the back seat, young kids, 13, 14, 15, and they're going by and they're giving us thumbs up. Mm-hmm. And they're really giving us thumbs up. And I've had one woman, the last convention we went to up in Lowell, Massachusetts, where we were was perfect. We were at the end of, where they were coming out of the convention, there was only one road out, and there was a stoplight. So they had to stop. And boy, I'll tell you, if there was a place to protest, that was perfect. So
we had a perfect spot too, Rick, right at a stoplight. And it was pedestrian traffic and stoplight traffic right outside of where they were loading. And here in Springfield, we have a really good location. It's a building that reaches curb to curb. So it's public sidewalks everywhere, all around the convention center.
And then there you go. And they would stop. And I had one woman, she rolled the window down and she says, "Boy, am I glad you guys showed up here." She says, I don't believe this at all anymore. I've been a witness for years, but I do not believe it. I'm glad that somebody's out there letting people know what's going on.
Well, Rick, we just heard a day or two ago, I believe it was on one of the Reddit pages, the convention itself woke somebody up. They watched the video and said, "What?" And they started looking at it. So they're doing their own. They're doing the Lord's work themselves by waking people up on their own.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. They're waking. They're all the changes, the chain reaction of changes, and here we are coming up, and about a month from now, they're going to have their annual meeting. What changes are we going to see again? So it's crazy. These people are friends. I still count them as friends and family. They may shun us. They may shun us for a temporary time, but I believe before long we'll have many join us.
Oh, it's only a matter of time. In fact,
Oh,
you
yeah.
mentioned just a little while ago, you mentioned that I say about 4 million PMOs, but I'm going to tell you something, Seth. The number's going up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I'm almost to the point that I really believe, now not in the truest sense, PMO, but I believe that every Jehovah's Witness as of late is a PMO. I really do. I mean, how can they possibly stay in an organization and go along with all this baloney? Now,
Right.
even at the
Well,
outset, at the outset of our program today, I got some information from a young man, and he said he was eavesdropping on his father, who was an elder, and he eavesdropped on him. And this week, his father elder was talking to another elder, and the father said, I don't really go along with this idea of these movies the Watchtower is making there. What they're doing is they're not telling the truth. Now, he could be disfellowshipped for that. But here he is so willing to speak up and at least say that. Isn't that something, huh?
It really is, Rick. And to let you know, it's happening of all ages. I know earlier in the program you were discussing some of the age differences, and a lot of the time right now, the older ones are leaving. We know very well. It's so shocking. We have I think he's 77. I'll say late 70s, and his wife. I was in their congregation. He was there. He was an elder there at one time. There was only 2 elders in that congregation, if that tells you anything. I think there's 3 or 4 now, but anyway, he was an elder, and a very, very stern. He believed it whole souled, wholehearted. He wrote a 17-page later explaining why he had to leave, explaining the crookedness of the governing body and things like that. Now, there's still a lot that I disagree that he believes on, and some I do agree. But it was crazy, a 17-page letter explaining why he left. And him and his wife, I've been able to talk with them on the phone a couple of times, and it blows my mind. And it's those of all ages. I see a lot of young ones leaving. I see a lot of young ones stuck in it just because of family. Honestly, that's why my wife stayed in it for so long, is family. But always questioning things, and that's a beautiful thing. One of our signs says, "Smile. It's not all doom and gloom." Another one says, it talks about it's okay to question. Yeah, and then I also did share this one. Want to know the truth about the truth? Visit JW Facts, because that has so much good information on it. That one was a little more of my pointed ones, but a couple of the others were just there's the smile one. Life is not all doom and gloom. Something positive. We put flowers around it. We put the XJW Friends website on it. We want to make sure people know it's friendly on the outside. There's so much work we're doing too. That's my boy. He says that sign is, "I'm not a little enemy of God." As we know, that's a quote that was put out there by Stephen Lett. And I have to tell you, wow, who would imagine a governing body member saying that? Little enemy of God.
Well, you sure do have a cute little son there, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
So,
that's my baby.
so he's only, what is he, only 2 years old, huh?
He's just 2. He turned 2 back in June. Yeah.
Wow, so he's a young protester, huh?
That's right. That's right.
He goes out there with you. What's he think of it?
Oh, he sits out there and he waves at everybody and says, "Hi, hi." So it's actually really cute. And what a blessing it is when we got out when we did. I can't imagine raising a child within the organization. Just a short story. Um, Whenever my wife, he was 11 days old when we went to our first convention. 11 days old. I drug my wife in the hottest summer heat I felt in a long time. Drove him all the way to Tulsa, Oklahoma to go to the convention there because I think we were living in Oklahoma at that time, near my in-laws, before we moved back to Springfield. But it was a hot heat. We took him there, and they thought they owned our child. They thought, and I went along with it. I said, although it made me a little uneasy, I'm like, well, this is the congregation's baby. In my mind, my wife hated every moment of it. She even talked to me and said, please don't let them pass him around. Please don't. And I said, well, this is the congregation's baby. It's not just our baby. We have to share him. Believe it or not, after the convention, we ended up in the hospital. Our little man got sick, and it was because he was passed around and kissed. He was kissed a lot, and so definitely it's not the congregation's baby. That's our baby. So I'm so glad we do not have to raise him in that.
So what was it that he actually got sick? What was the disease he had?
It was it's slipping my mind. It's right on top of my mind. I can't. It was from kissing. They were kissing him. Part of it was E. coli.
Is that right? They did mention E. coli. That's a serious thing. That baby, your son could have died because of that. But
absolutely,
the witnesses do that, and they go up to the little babies, and the mothers hate it. I know even my former wife hated it. The witnesses would come up and grab the baby and start walking all over the place with it. And as
for me, I told my wife, I said, well, it's the congregation's baby. She's like, no, it's my baby. I said, don't be selfish. That was me being selfish there. That's the congregation's baby. So it was, they some of them, and they passed them around to some of the filthiest of the friends. And I know we've all been in halls with some filthy people. And this was an Oklahoma hall, and I'm not putting labels on it, but this one was a little more redneck, a little more country, a little more less concerned about hygiene. And this one, it was definitely just passing around our son. And my wife told me, don't do it, don't let him do it. And I said, oh, it's the congregation's baby. Everyone gets a chance to be around him. So that was rotten.
That's but we all have stories like that. We really, really do.
Right.
I like the term you just used, a little less hygiene. That's nice. You were very soft on that. But I'm glad that your baby's doing good now, because boy, I'll tell you, that really would ruffle my feathers. It would do, yeah. So I know your wife now. She's very shy. We're not going to ask her to come on, but her name is Felicia. And Felicia, if you're listening, we're saying hi to you. And when you muster up the courage someday, and you'd like to come on our program, we'd love to have you right there next to Seth. But when you can, don't you worry about it. We love you, and we hope that someday you'll be able to do that. So that'll be good. Yep.
Oh, she'll be ready soon. She's just she's getting over some nervousness that actually, as we know, was built in by the organization's view on women. So she's trying to break out there, and I did not do that any justice as her husband. And while I was in the organization, I carried that value too with, men have dominance, you submit. And I had very poor examples around me, very poor examples. I heard how they talked to their wives and things. So I imitated, so I'm learning how to be a better husband. She's learning to gain the courage to step up. And it's a process. As we've discussed, we're both newly out, and so it's a process. But she'll be ready before you know it.
Well, that's good. No, I know you mentioned that early, and you mentioned last Sunday when you're on the program. It has to be. I don't know what it would be like to be a gung ho witness, and your mate kind of, or at least is expressing their thoughts on how bad the Watchtower is. Now, fortunately, when I came out, my wife actually came out a little before me, and she started telling me scripturally some of the things that were wrong. And, I listened to her a little bit. And then I started doing some research and came out myself. But that is going to be really difficult having a mate like your wife did. And good for Felicia. She started seeing the little holes in the Watchtower.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And I turned my in-laws against her, her own parents, who were active witnesses and still are to this day, although my mother-in-law does question things. Um, I turned my in-laws against her. I said, your daughter's she's apostatizing. She's thinking this and she's talking down against the governing body. And they would, oh, it's okay, Seth, come here. You know, you're doing everything right. Be a good husband and take the lead and she'll follow. And it wasn't going down that path. But then, you know, my wife would have me question things and she's like, well, think about this or think about that. And then it slowly, I was like, oh my gosh. She said, just search one thing that you've ever questioned. And mine was that 607. And so that's what led it from there.
well, isn't that something though? But I give Felicia a lot of credit because
Me too.
do you realize how many people are listening right now that are in a predicament? They're listening. There's people listening in right now, Seth. I'm telling you, they're outside. They're in the woods somewhere. They're out by the woodshed. They're in a back room in their house. Their mate doesn't want to catch them on the six screens. They're listening, and I know they are. I can tell because I see phone lines here, and I'll
Right.
see. I've got a number of computer screens. You can't see them all, but there's a computer screen with all the phone calls coming in from all over the world. And at times I see people drop off, then they come back 2 or 3 minutes later, then they drop off again, then they come back. That's showing me what's going on. I'm not
Yes.
trying to.
And I encourage anyone listening right now, if you're in that type of predicament, reach out. We're available. My wife and I will gladly talk to you. Everything is kept confidential. We're not going to go out there and spread anything. We don't. It's completely confidential. But if you need to talk, or you need help, or you're questioning, or you want to take a different type of route to leave, you don't have to leave loudly. You don't. That's not a requirement. It's certainly helpful for our sake on our side of things, but we also want to take in if you need to leave quietly. We'll talk with you. We'll help you. We'll be there for you. My wife is probably the most empathetic empath ever, and I'll tell you, she has quite a story. She has a heart of gold and a brain that is so smart. She can talk with you. I can talk with you, as well as if you want to leave loudly and you want help protesting and you want to take that next step, contact, and I'm sure you're open for this too, Rick. Contact us. We can protest. There's so many protests we can do. As long as it stays peaceful, and kind. We can help you protest.
Well, I'll tell you what. In fact, there's more that would be willing to do it today. But I'll tell you, when I first started, it was like cutting teeth trying to get someone to come and protest with you. And
Right.
I would get people say, "Oh, Rick, I'm going to be there, and I'm coming," and then they would chicken out at the last minute, and they'd say, "Well, gee, Rick, my cat got sick today, and I had to stay home." They would make up every excuse, but
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying that you have to do it. And I understood that, but I'll tell you what. I'll tell you this sincerely. I was at the biggest protest ever. That was down at the White House back in 2023. And I went down there in September, and they wanted me to go down. I went down, and I counted them. There was 226 and 36. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was the largest protest ever. But there were so many people that, they were on the sidelines. They would stay in the sidewalk. They didn't want to get out there and hold a sign. But after the protest, they all got together, and everyone was so happy. Everyone was taking selfies and sharing emails and telephone numbers. That's when I thought about the Still Alive in 2025 convention. I says, well, I see a lot of you people really didn't want to protest, but you're here. How would you like to have a convention? Oh, that would be great. So that's how we got there. I figured, maybe we can't get them to protest, but we can get them to come to the convention. So
now, Rick, what we set out and we we realize how much money and effort it takes for those conventions, but it's worth it. And Felicia and I would be delighted to be part of the program or help put it together. Anytime we ever do another one of those ever again, we sat down, I think during the convention, and made funny names for them, like trying to get to heaven in 2027 or what, crazy stuff. We just wrote out a bunch of funny
Yeah.
ones, but yeah, we're
Yeah, well,
we're we're
keep
ready.
your names coming. You never know what's going to happen. Now, see what they did is they filmed a full length motion picture there, and that was
That's
really
something.
something else. So I was talking to the producer this week, and they hope to have it. They're going to try to get it out somewhere around the first of the year. But he says, Rick, he says, I have to tell you, he says, when we came up to Boston, because they also were going to New York and filming Philadelphia and a few other places, he said, we love that convention for the movie. He says it was so vibrant and colorful. He says it was so good. So we're really, I'll tell you what, when that convention comes out, it's gonna help a lot of ex-witnesses.
Absolutely. It's going to help a ton of people. But we did make one agreement, Rick. I'll tell you what Felicia and I just said, we cannot have the theme Pillowgate 2028.
Well, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Well, I'll tell you what. Now let's open the lines up. I'm sure there's people like to say hello to you, Seth.
Sure.
Seth is on with us. He's only been out for 2 years. The man has got a lot of passion, a lot of commitment. Why don't you say hello to Seth? Go ahead. Why don't you come on, say hello to Seth? Let him know what you think. I mean, you carry yourself really well, Seth. You really do. I
Well,
listened to
you and
you.
I have a bit of the same background there, Rick. I was involved in radio and TV for a long time, and I wanted to go to college for it, but you know who stomped on those streams, right?
Oh yeah,
So I got out of the TV broadcasting world to pursue kingdom realities that still haven't happened yet. And so it's one of those things. And now I can go to college for it, apparently.
well, I'll tell you. See, what it was I never really looked at broadcasting as being like the entertainment world. I
Right.
mean, you could kind of put it in there, but that's one thing the witnesses hate is entertainment. You're not supposed to be an entertainer. Jehovah doesn't like that. But anything, no matter what you would do, musicians. I know so many good musicians, and I met them there at the Still Alive convention that were really talented musicians. But Watchtower put the kibosh on that as well. It was terrible, terrible.
Yeah.
So why don't you call in and say hello to Seth? You're on the SixScreens. Tell him that we've got a lot of people on the telephone line here. I just want to get them to call in. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me go over here. Say hello to Seth. My goodness, he's calling in from Missouri. Him and his wife just recently got out. They would love to hear. They would love to hear from you folks out there. He was on last Sunday. We had a number of people call in, talk to him. So if you'd like to say hello to Seth, now's the time to do it. Give him a couple of minutes here to call in. Let me just
Sure
take
thing.
let me take a look at some of the chat here. They really enjoy
Yeah, and you can always join. Please, like I said, like and subscribe on our YouTube page. Leave comments, interact, because the more the interaction, like we've talked about the algorithm. I don't know how many times on different channels it gets it out there. So you never know when a newly or a PMO is listening and who wants to leave, or someone who newly left who is having the same experience. So this is about helping others. For us, we're not making money from a channel. We're poor. I'm a bus driver. We work, we live in, the Ozarks. That we're not interested in any of that. We're not interested in celebrity titles, but we're ready to help. That's the goal. We want to help as many as possible who want to leave.
There you go. Well, no, I like the way you talk. I like the way you talk. I don't monetize this. Well, let's go to I think before we bring Linda on, let's bring in the Northern Peninsula of Michigan. I believe that's Ken up there. Go ahead, Ken. All right. He's all right. Let's go to Pasta Babe then. Linda, come on in.
Linda.
This is a Pasta Babe, and it's really good to hear you speak about the growth that you've made and admitting some of the things that you've done that you have changed your mind about, and I appreciate that a lot. That's not something I hear men speak about very often. And thank you for that. Thank you.
Linda, that's something that we've had discussions on before, but I do claim to be, and this is a term I'm working on. I do believe I have borderline personality issues sometimes, but also I think I'm a self-aware narcissist, and I'm working on that. I'm working on changing things. I'm working on that. So thank you, Linda, and having the support group that we have is really helping clear things up in my mind, and a lot of times when you leave with the same thoughts and the same teachings that Watchtower had, and being used as the yes man for Watchtower, because I did that. If they asked me to do anything, I was yes, yes, yes. It took me away from my family. It took me away doing this and that. I was going on shepherding calls and things, and I'm not well, I was doing all of these things I wasn't supposed to be doing. Handled the finances at the hall, did this, did that, did this. Was overseer over some of the departments, and for local congregation and assembly wide, for the whole circuit. And so a lot of that got to me. It was a climb the ladder type thing. Hey, you're doing God's work, so climb the ladder, and it's okay to take some of that prestige. So letting that thinking go, Linda, has been quite a journey, and it's still a journey. I think we had a conversation last night. I've cried a lot this week. It's been tears and tears and tears. So just continuing forward.
Thank you for, I enjoyed talking with you yesterday. And one of the things about, one of the characteristics of a cult is those that are above us within the hierarchy of a cult, all the way to the top, is that they teach the members to be narcissistic. That's part of the training to get people to be, yes. So you mentioned, the people that were around you before and how you took on some of their, the way they had been persuading you and stuff. And now you get to kind of look at things differently. And that's really great. But that is one of the things that is to be expected when someone's within a cult, especially with the men. And the fact that you've tapped into that is also impressive, okay?
Thank you, Linda.
And
I think my wife appreciates it too.
I was sitting here thinking, homeboy's just lucky that they have that rule that you can't leave them even if they beat the hell out of you. You got to stick with them. I'm thinking she had to have that stick with them mentality.
Yeah.
But it sounds like she was pretty patient with you, and at the same time putting ideas out for you to come up with your own ideas.
And that's why we separated there, Linda, because I thought I was above her, and so when the short separation happened, because she was thinking apostate things, and I was so angry about it, that's why it happened, because I was like, no, but she still stuck through, and we came back together, as ex-witnesses. So that was great.
Oh, wow. That's so beautiful. That's beautiful. I bet it's stronger than ever. I bet the coming back.
We're working on it.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. So, yeah, keep up. And again, I have to compliment you and your wife on the little sign that your son wears on his stroller. Well, he doesn't wear it. It's on his stroller,
Yeah.
What does it say?
It says, I'm not a little enemy of God.
I just freaking love that. Love it, love it. And it will come to mind to some of the witnesses when they see it. And it's making light of it too,
Right.
But yeah, thanks for talking with me, and I'll let you go. I'm sure there's other people that want to talk with you. Okay, bye-bye.
Well, JP, say hello to our good friend Seth.
Hi, Seth. How's it going? This is JP.
Hey, JP.
Yeah, I've heard you a few times on Joe and Fran's show and stuff, but I really give it to you for doing those protests and stuff. I probably not in the place in my life right now where I could do something that bold, but just for family reasons and other stuff. But I really commend you for that. That's pretty nice because, like you were saying earlier, I remember growing up in the late 80s and 90s, and we used to go to Dodger Stadium, and we would see, you know, groups of like maybe upwards of 50 apostates with very, you know, colorful signs and artistical signs. Nothing that you can print off back in the day. This is in the 80s and 90s. So everybody who made a sign was very unique and stuff. And I remember my parents and that, and just everybody in the congregation, they just terrified us of these people. But I used to peek at their signs and stuff, and looking back now, I can see that there was really nothing terrible or that was heretical or anything like as opposed to the Bible. That are just bringing out stuff that against the Watchtower,
Right,
and trying to wake people up back then. But yeah, I think to get that movement going again, I know Rick went to Washington D.C. A couple of years ago. I know that protest went on twice, but that would be a nice thing to get more involved in that.
if we could get a protester at every convention across the country, one or two, maybe a small group, it doesn't have to be very many, but if we could get someone out at just about every one across the country or across the world, it may make an impact on somebody. You never know. We don't know. We know we saw thousands and thousands and thousands of witnesses. We saw them drive by. We saw them in person. And I'm sure we made an impact on somebody, and we may never know. But the point is, I do think that is giving them the opportunity for them to see something. And they read it. It just amazed me at how many people actually read the signs we've had. And I don't know. I need to ask a few questions at some point on how many hits on the website and things like that. But it's so beautiful to see how many people actually read. So you don't have to. You know, a lot of people do leave and have family issues. We're very, very blessed that my mother-in-law does not believe the shunning policy, and that's really the only witness relative we would be worried about losing. The rest of them, you know, they didn't talk to us anyway half the time, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, and I really liked your signs, especially the one with your son. I mean, everything that your wife wrote out for everybody to smile and that. And from what you were saying to your son, I think everything was really well thought out and put together. That's why you got such a good response. I'm hoping maybe in the next 2 weeks or so, I might get an opportunity to do something like that with some other XJWs. But I don't know if you or Rick know that there's going to be a XJW meetup in Las Vegas for 2 days in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
And there's about 20 to 30 XJWs going, but I was talking to a few people and I was saying, wouldn't that be amazing if we're all walking on the strip and we found like a few, you know, JW carts on the strip and we could go speak to them? But what I would say, we would go up there to be friendly to them. It would be nice to greet the cart and just say, hey, we're here on an XJW vacation. There's 20 of us or so here. And not to preach to them and tell them why Watchtower is wrong, but maybe we could all just go by and just say hello and just give them a quick 2 to 5 minute reason of our history as being Jehovah's Witnesses and why we left, and just wish them a good day, you know, the cart. But if all of us could do that, you know, one after another, you know, give our testimony to the cart and not really question them or rebuke them, just say, hey, we used to be witnesses. We just wanted to come by and say hi. And there's a big group of us here in Las Vegas doing a meetup. We just want to tell you guys why we all left real quick. and that's it. And I think that would be a huge impact to them. But I don't know. I don't.
Well, you know, JP,
so much activity anymore with a JW, so we may not even see any. So
if they are out there, I encourage you to talk to them and do just as you said, because they're already thinking for themselves.
Yeah.
Every witness has an opinion. Every witness, I know, I was gung ho for it. I was the yes man. I still had opinions on the within, and I thought, boy, that's something I could question, but I'm going to choose not to. But if you come up and say, hey, you know what, and show a smiley face, because my ideal of apostates was everyone was evil. You know how many evil apostates I've met? Goose egg. None. I have not met an evil apostate yet. There are some very strongly opinionated. There are some that, you know, I personally wouldn't hang out with, but they're all friends. You know, apostates, they're not evil.
yeah, and I would just go let them know, you know, I'm a former brother or sister. I mean, I don't want to consider you a former brother or sister. You may consider me one, but
right.
I noticed you're here doing the cart work, and there's a group of us here. If you can see it, we're all actually ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and we just wanted to come by and say hi and let you guys know that we used to be one of you, but we love you guys.
Right. Right. And that's what love will change more. That'll get them thinking, wow, they actually love somebody. They actually love somebody.
Yeah.
That will get them thinking.
No, it's
You know, we'll go by real quick, and we'll tell you how we all found the truth, and then how we all found the truth about the truth, and then you know, we'll be on our day. But if you
That's
guys
right, and that's the thing. Some of those people standing at the carts, some of them standing at them, are probably already like, yeah, they're not really in it. They're there because they have to check a box for their time, or they're putting on a display for a family member. But they could be PMO themselves. They could be sitting there thinking, I'm ready, but I don't know where to go, don't know where to turn. But you showing love or compassion, or showing that there's support on the outside, could motivate them to wake up and leave the governing body's lives.
well.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I mean, it is just a meetup, but if we do encounter a card, I'm sure we'll all try to embrace them. But yeah, other than that, I just wanted to tell you and Rick that that's what I'm looking forward to in the next few weeks. But thanks, Seth, for coming on the show.
Thank you for allowing me, everyone. Thank you for allowing me here. This is great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, JP. Thank you. Always good to hear from you, and I hope things go well. I hope you can make it out to that protest. Not the protest, but that meetup would be good. Thank you for calling in. Yeah, Seth, I wanted to say, yeah, in fact, I got a picture, I got a little video here of a protest. You mentioned earlier the elders came out and blocked the sidewalk. This happened to us back in 2011 at the McMullen Center at the University of Massachusetts out in Springfield. And I'll just play a little clip here. I want you to see they did the same thing to us. So I'll play the clip, get a little idea of what was going on. And this is back in 2011. So let's share it now. Let's play it. Let me get up here and do it. Massachusetts, right at the University of Massachusetts, is the Jehovah's Witness Regional Convention. And what we've got a little mild demonstration of protest going on. Today is a very important day in the world of the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. This is the first annual ex-Jehovah's Witness Day, so we want to acknowledge all of the people that have been touched by the tentacles of the Watchtower all over the world. And we want to let you know we are concerned, and hopefully all of us exposing the Watchtower together can make a real difference. You can span around and see some of the signs that we have here. Yes, indeed, Jehovah's Witnesses are a dangerous and a destructive cult. And of course, they are covering up child molesters. I'm going to move forward here. I want you to see the elders. Now, these are the...
Yeah, and Matthew, what does it say, brother?
let me just say what's going on there, Luke, and the camera. Get the recording on? Yeah. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about a dozen elders come out of it lined up to make sure the witnesses coming out of the arena don't come this way. Yeah, so they So what they're doing is they're standing there. They don't want the witnesses in any way seeing that we're here. Well, we'll stop it right there. But just the idea. So they're the elders. You
Oh,
can see
yeah.
them right there. Let me just move them forward. But they were blocking it. I'll get a closer shot here. You'll see them. The witnesses were coming out, and they had a dozen elders out there blocking the sidewalk. You can see them right there. They did not see that crosswalk. They did not want them coming by that crosswalk. That they did not want them to come over and talk to us. But I'll tell you what, it was a good protest. Now, on Reddit, not too long ago, I would say, less than a month ago, I read on Reddit a young man. He said he was at, I guess, that particular convention because he mentioned in Springfield, and he said there was some apostates outside. And he says his mother kept telling him, don't look at the apostates. Don't look at the apostates. But he said, they helped him get out of the so-called truth. So that can work, Seth,
Absolutely. It does work. And it's something, when the elders blocked us, they were blocking our access. We were walking on we rolled up our signs. We put them under our son's stroller. We rolled them up and we were walking back to our vehicle after it was there may be a small dwindling of witnesses still leaving, but for the most part, everyone left. So we were walking back through. My wife heard them as we were walking through and said, they're not allowed over here ever. Stop them. Don't let them come on the public sidewalk. So we got a hold of the city. When they blocked us, there was 8 to 10 of them. We've got a short video on our YouTube channel. If anyone wants to go over there and see that, it's under the shorts, I believe. It's like a 12-second video. But we have more info on that and things, and it's being turned over to a lawyer on the city here, the city of Springfield, Missouri. They were informed, said, no, that's absolutely, they don't rent the sidewalk. They were telling us at the expo center here in town that when they rent that, they rent everything in front of it too. All the sidewalk. And we rent this. This is ours. And the city said, no way. No way. That's impossible. We don't rent out the public sidewalk unless it's a city-sponsored event. And so it was so interesting. So this is going in the direction of a lawsuit potentially. We're working up to it, but since we do have the video proof of that, we stood there toe to toe with 8 to 10 of them, face to face, toe to toe. One of the elders put his leg out when I tried to go around him and pushed my son's stroller. So there was contact for one, and it was not good. So, this could be a good thing.
I hope it works out for you, Seth.
But yeah.
The witnesses, they think they're above the law.
Absolutely.
Where'd they ever get that thinking? We rent it all, sidewalk and everything. No, they don't. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you, at that particular protest you just saw there, I was at, they had 2 police officers on motorcycles, and they were giving us the thumbs up, and we're watching.
That's right.
Keeping an eye on you. So they were watching.
Police do not like witnesses, contrary to what they may think. Yeah, they're peaceful. Most of the time, witnesses have peaceful events and things like. They're not backing them. Police officers, they're standing up for your First Amendment right to protest. They're there giving the thumbs up. They're saying, hey, keep this up. We don't like them anyway. They bother us on Saturday mornings. Please, take them down.
You're right. In fact, even the police, we had one man there that came with us to protest, but he said, Rick, the only way I can really do it is I have to be in some type of costume, because his mother was a staunch Jehovah's Witness at that convention. So he says, I want to come with you. He's going to help me with some of the technical stuff. He says, but I have to be in a costume. So I said, we'll put you in a hazmat suit. So I got a hazmat suit, and I had him wearing a big, a gas mask and a hat. You really couldn't tell who it was.
Right.
So the police came up and they said, hey, Mr. Fearon, you can't have that guy dressed up in a hazmat suit. I said, well, wait a minute. I said, you don't totally get it. If he's seen, his mother will shun him. So the cop totally agreed with it. He says, well, fine. He can keep the hazmat suit on. He says, but it's scaring some of the witnesses. I know it's the very opposite of what you're doing. Seth, and I'm going to take a more loving approach myself because I think a loving approach is perhaps the way to go. Yeah.
Both ways have their benefits. Both ways, doing that, pointing out, because it does still make an impact. I'm just saying, as an active witness, I did I'm more likely to ignore the negative signs. If somebody was holding up a smile sign, I'm bold enough, I would have walked over and said, thank you for, what, that was kind, that was nice. And it made my mind think, wow, he's an XJW, but he was nice. And it would have stuck with me a little more. So it's something priceless. And so I do have to throw something else in there. When my wife and I, when we did separate, it wasn't just due to religious stuff. It wasn't just due to that. There were other things because of the narcissism and things holding on. But coming back together was special because we got to bond over the ex-witness community. We got the bond together on learning our new way. We didn't know where to go. Again, we did not know where to go. So with us, when we did separate, it was hard on me. It was really hard on me because then I didn't even have my wife. And so when we started leaving, it was very, 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 but knowing that there was support out there would have helped me so much. It would have helped my wife. It would have helped me. It would have helped so many ones who leave, because I had the intention on leaving and returning. If I return, they'll take me back. They'll love me. Because I needed that association. So that's what we're also trying to prevent, is people from who left. You have support who are thinking about leaving. You have don't go back. Don't go back to Watchtower and listen to them. Don't go back. So that's why we're leaving so loudly.
I'll tell you, Zeph, that you're making a big difference in the ex-witness world, and we're all looking forward to more protests you're going to do and being in your YouTube channel and making a big difference in helping people as well. Well, I want to thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, Rick.
Thank you, Seth. And we'll get you back on with us, and we'll keep spreading the word for you and keep standing tall. Don't you ever give in, or up or out, okay? Just keep.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Seth, and say goodnight to Felicia and your little son. He's a darling. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, there you go. That's our good friend Seth. He's out of Missouri, and he's a former Jehovah's Witness. That's him right there. We'll exit the screen, and we'll get me up here. Excellent. All right, there he goes. Well, anyways, friends, I wanted to give you an idea what's going on. Now, in 2 weeks, no, it won't be in 2 weeks, about a month from now, we have a brand new program starting here on the SixScreens. I think it's going to be a very successful program. Now, the program is called Judicial Hearing. So what we're doing is I'm going to play an elder, and Tommy, we all know Tommy from, he was at the convention with us. Tommy is going to be the other elder. And what we're going to do is we're going to disfellowship the governing body. We're going to do 1 week. It's going to be a 2-week program. Every 2 weeks, we'll have it on. 1 week, we're going to disfellowship one governing body member. We're going to give it a little narrative. We're going to have a visiting elder come in as well. We'll have 3 elders deciding on why we are disfellowshipping this governing body member. So that's going to be an interesting program. The first governing body member we're going to disfellowship is going to be Garrett Loesch. And the reason why we picked Garrett first is just a few years ago, Garrett Loesch was in Italy, and he was telling the young people in Italy not to get an education. It wouldn't be in Jehovah's best interest. And now they're allowing education. Garrett Loesch will be disfellowshipped, and we're going to give you all the reasons for it coming up on the SixScreens. Now, sometimes we may not disfellowship one, but I'm letting you know ahead of time, Garrett is getting disfellowshipped. So we got to, each time we come on with the program, we'll have a visiting elder. And in the ex-witness world, even women, we're going to have some elderettes come on, so to speak. Barbara Anderson is going to be one of them that will also be able to sit down on the judicial hearing. So it's going to be an interesting program. We'll have the telephone phone lines open so people can call in and give their feelings as well on the disfellowshipping of these officials of the Watchtower. So looking forward to that program. Judicial hearing coming up in about a month. Well, 1 month from tonight, right here on the SixScreens Telenetwork. Well, there'll be no SixScreens Sunday tomorrow. It'll be the following Sunday, all goes well. But what we will do is we'll do our game tonight. We didn't do it last week. We didn't have the time, but we do have the time tonight. So we're going to do our trivia game. Now, in this trivia game, you have an opportunity to win some Watchtower publications that Jim Hill has sent to me. We thank Jim for doing that. Nathan Natus is his name on JWN, and he's nice enough to send us books. Millions Now Living book. Also books concerning some of the early years of the Watchtower and how they've been involved with pyramidology and some of the things that were mentioned in the Golden Age magazine. So you can win a book. You have to go on the honor system. Let me just take a sip of iced tea here. Hold on 1 second. Excuse me, mouth gets kind of dry talking for 4 hours here. But anyways, what happens is you have to keep your own score now, okay? It's the honor system. You get a point for each question. When you get 5 points, you can get a book. You get 20 points. I'm sorry, not 20, 12. When you get 12 points, you can win $100. We have some people close to that already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the question, and then I want you people to pick a number at random, 1 to 100. And when I ask the question, don't answer it until I say go. When I say go, I want to hear numbers. I want to hear 11, 8, 7, 1. And it's easier for me to follow that. If everyone just spoke up at once, I don't hear a word anybody's saying. So use a number. So let's all get ready for that. Let's get ready for the first question tonight. Let's go over here and ask the question. We all know Maria Russell. Well, she was the wife of Charles Taze Russell. Now, was Maria Russell ever considered to be a faithful slave being used by Jehovah? True or false? Was Maria Russell ever considered to be a faithful slave member? Go.
Yeah, true.
I heard 10.
Yes, it's Nadine. I would say yes. The answer is true.
It is true, Nadine. You're right. You got a point. So you must be getting pretty close. How many points you got?
I have 10 now.
All right, two more, and you get yourself $100. And I know you won it.
Okay.
You won it twice already. You could use the money, couldn't you?
Of course.
Everybody.
I'm going on a little trip soon.
So everybody can use the money. All right. So that was good. That was good. In fact, just to reiterate on that, originally, Pastor Russell and his wife, Maria, constituted the faithful and discreet slave. Russell broke away from his wife to become the one slave through whom it was asserted Jehovah's truth to be revealed. So he was the man that was going to reveal the truth about Jehovah and the Watchtower. All right. All right, let's go with this. As brought up in the transcripts, right in the old Watchtower publication, why was Maria Russell upset with her husband, and what was the name of the young girl that was interfering in their marriage? So you have to tell me why Maria was upset, and what was the name of the young girl that was interfering in their marriage? Go.
17. On 17.
I heard 17 first. Go ahead, 17. I think that's a pasta, babe. Go ahead.
Yes, Rose Ball would be the name of the girl.
Yep.
And I believe Maria was upset because of the time she had to spend extra with her husband. Her husband was calling her my little wife. And they had done some making out and stuff. So they were being inappropriate. But Rose Ball, it's thought that she was underage, but she was one of those people that looked very, very young for her age.
Yes.
So in the situation when they adopted her from love, not on paper legally, but from love, and even when you do that, it's quite like incest, even though you might not be blood related when you take them on as a child.
Linda?
Yes.
This is Nadine. I heard she was 14. I heard she was 14 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard that she was very young too.
She was pretty young. Yeah.
And then I've heard something figured out to where she wasn't. So, but that was through another channel, and I can't think of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you could be right. I could be right. We could be both wrong. I don't know.
Linda?
I don't know. But yes.
Hi, this is Girl. So,
Hi, Girl.
was in, hi. So James in James Penton book, she was not a teenager. She was older than that. She just looked younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your name, Ann? Carrie Ann? I think she does really good videos, and she's not doing them lately. Christy Ann, I think she did a video that kind of confirmed that too. But yeah, she did look 14. Yes, she did. and there's a part of me that thinks, and this is just my opinion, that part of the reason that she separated from her husband was partially to get the child away from him, you know, because with the place of authority that he held, you know, there would be a sense of obligation to be obedient.
All righty. Well, we don't know exactly how old she was, but she was interfering in the marriage. So we get a point.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Seth. Stephen. Go ahead.
Also, doing something with like his maid.
Yes.
She would go in the room and lock the room and be in there for a while. That's who I thought you were actually talking about was the maid.
No, we were talking about the girl that was interfering in Maria and Charles Taze Russell's marriage. So we get to the next question. Let's go to the next question. Linda, take a point. So anyways, in the transcript, I'm getting this transcript from an old Watchtower publication. So they asked when they went to court, because Maria and Russell went to court for we could call it a divorce today, but like I said a couple of weeks ago, they didn't want to call it a divorce in the Watchtower. They don't like divorce, so they called it a separation from bed and breakfast. I mean, that's a crazy term. I never heard of that. But anyways, in the court transcript, they were really asking Maria, what was really one of the, what did you see? Did you see any of this shenanigans going on? So one evening, he spent the evening downstairs in the library. That's what Maria said. And then something happened after that. Can anyone tell me what happened after that? Go. Well, I'll tell you what happened. Good.
I think that was their office.
All right. So, Stephen, did you want to take a shot on what happened next? Be nice now.
I thought that he was locked up in the room with the maid.
All right. Well, here's I'm reading it from the transcript. One evening, that's Russell, spent the evening downstairs, and this is Maria testifying to the court. Her husband, Charles Taze, he spent the evening downstairs in our library. And then he went upstairs to the second floor, and in about 10 o'clock to my room. And I suppose that he was either in the library and he had retired. And then I went up there and I found that he was in either place. And I stepped out in the hall and I found out that he was in a nightrobe sitting beside Miss Ball's bed, and she was in bed. One other occasion, I found him going in there, and I found she called him and said that she wasn't well and wanted him in. And I objected to this. I mean, if you were a wife, you'd object to that too, right? And I said that it was highly improper. And I said, we have people about the house, and what kind of name will be attached to this house if you do that sort of thing? He got angry. It's right in the transcript. Right in the transcript. Isn't that something, huh? Yeah. All right, let's go to this. All right. We did this question before. I'm not going to ask it again. But let's go with this. All right. Rutherford loved Canadian whiskey, and he did not like prohibition. As a matter of fact, he thought it should be done away with because he loved drinking, right? So tell me, how did Judge Rutherford get his whiskey during the probation? Does anyone have the answer to that? Go. 17. Linda, 17. She's in there. Go ahead, Linda.
So he had it brought down from Canada from his followers. They'd go pick it up for him, I believe, from Canada.
Yes, from Canada. But I mean, did they travel by horse and buggy? Did they travel by a motor vehicle?
I don't know. I'm sorry. So that's what you mean by how? Yeah.
No, I'm gonna give it to you. And I'm gonna give it to. I'm gonna give it to Linda anyways. Yeah, I'll give you. Take the point, Linda. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. All right. As many Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, I'm not going to use the name Jehovah's Witness. Just go with this. As many as the members split from the religion as a result of Judge Rutherford's takeover in policy. Well, they weren't known as Jehovah's Witnesses at that time, but when Rutherford came in, a bunch of the Bible school students left. Now, this is a multiple choice. How many Bible students left when Rutherford came into office? I'll give you multiple choice. Was it 10%? Was it 50%? Was it 75%? In other words, they didn't like Rutherford. They liked Russell. What percentage? Let me say go first. What was the percentage that left? Go.
7.
I heard a man first. I don't.
It was 1.
I think it was Zachary. Zachary, go ahead, take a shot at it.
I don't know, 50%.
No, I'm going to tell you how many it was, and you telling me it's percentage. I'll give you another shot at it. There were 250,000 Bible students that left.
10%.
Linda's got a 75. No, Linda got it. 75. Take a point, Linda. Take a point. That's good. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So we'll do one more. We'll do one more here. Question would be, what is the Jehovah's Witness major prophecy depicting the time of the end? What Bible book and chapter? Go.
1.
Go ahead, one. That's Zach.
Matthew 24:14.
You got it. Yeah, you got it. The whole part of Matthew 24 dealing with what was going to happen, earthquakes and pestilence and all of that. You got it, Zach. That's good. Well, we're going to end it there, folks. I hate to do it. Going to get moving here tonight, but I want to thank everyone for coming into the Six Screens tonight. We'll be back next week. We got some really good programming in the future. We got some new programs starting, as I mentioned earlier. But I want to thank everyone for coming in and spending their night with us here at the Six Screens. I hope it all goes well for you. Keep waving that flag of victory. Don't you ever give in, up, or out. And the last one leaving the Watchtower, please turn off the new light. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much.